So oftentimes we think about the future and we think about the past and we think about how cringe we were in the past, right? And the mistakes that we make. And that's only natural because obviously as we get older, we recognize how we have more insight and we have more wisdom, of course. And with that being said, we're obviously going to reflect back on our younger years and we're going to think, oh, wow, I can't believe I did that. Well, it was very stupid of me that I did that, right? And obviously, in hindsight, everything makes sense, right? In hindsight, if not most things, in retrospect, rather. So when we think about the ideas of being cringe and letting ourselves do what we have to do and be who we want to be, we are sometimes stopped by this idea of being cringe or looking stupid or doing the wrong things. Like recording this video, in a way, right? It might seem cringe to me now. It might seem cringe to me 20 years from now when I'm 43 and I watch this video. Maybe if I have children, I show it back to their video to show them how young their father was. But it makes you think. It might still be cringe later. However, it's going to be a different type of cringe. It's a more wholesome cringe. It ages differently than what it would be right now. It's a more wholesome cringe. You know, you look at the video and you think right now, I might look at this a week from now and think, wow, that's stupid, that's a stupid video. But 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, if people are seeing this video, no, I don't think. It might be still be cringe, but it's different sector, which is it's a more understandable thing. It's a more innocent thing. 20 years from now, looking at this video, reflecting on who I was, on who you're going to be, on who I want to be, about who you want to be, the things that you want to accomplish. And honestly, in today's world, we're given a myriad of beautiful things, and the abundance of these things it's all over the place, right? I think something that I see in my own life, I want to record more of myself. I want to document more things, right? I mean, there's so many, what I was thinking recently, there are so many parts of ourselves that we lose, right? As the years go on by, and we don't document these things. And maybe some of these things we want to lose, right? There are some things that we don't want to be a part of anymore, or that we don't want to be a part of us anymore, and that's understandable. But in retrospect, in hindsight, and maybe this is very ignorant of me to say, but in retrospect, even the worst things that happened to us, with enough years of reflecting and enough years of understanding, we're able to make the most of it in due time. Maybe. Depends how bad the situation is. Maybe that's very ignorant for me to say because I haven't been through anything that's that crushing, you know, parents die in a major war. Right. I've never been through that. Okay. With that being said though, to you, to myself, to whoever, everything I said about being cringe, who cares? I'm doing a 180 on the video itself. Why does it matter if it's cringe or not? If you're trying to be authentic, why does it matter? So maybe it is cringe right now. Maybe it'll be cringe in 20 years when my hairline's receded. Hopefully not, and my hair is gray. And I have more wrinkles. Hopefully not, right? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But the important thing that it's there and that I tried. And the important thing is that you're there and that you tried. Because at the end of the day, We keep running, we keep running, we keep running, we keep running these red lights, but for what? We're trying to run these red lights. But for what for most of the time? I understand sometimes, but for what? Why are we trying to run every single red light? Why? I understand some of them, but why most of them? Why? Even if you have all the money in the world, what happens then? If you don't have a purpose, if you don't have people that love you. We must remember what it means to be human. We must remember these vital things, what God has taught us, what Jesus Christ has taught us. We're all sinners. So remember that when you think you're doing something cringe. It might be, but who cares? Because in 20 years, it might still be cringe, but it has a different twist on it. It's a different age. It's a different type of cringe. Like looking at video of yourself when you were 4 or 5. Maybe that's not cringe because you're processing it as a child, which is understandable. Or rather, you were a child when that happened. But you're happy you have that picture. You're happy you have that video. The memories back in your mind, you've gone 15, 20 years without thinking about that person, about that moment, about that post, about that idea. That picture, that video, it's a wrinkle in time. That documentation's a wrinkle in time, no matter how shitty you might think it is. Rather, the documentation of it itself, or the moment itself. Or the work itself. Maybe it just wasn't your best work. Maybe you were starting out. But the important thing, the most vital thing, is that it's there. Because, unfortunately, we're all mortal. And one day, even the prettiest, even the most handsome, even the ones with the most money are not going to have it anymore. They can give it to their children, offspring, generations, yes, understandable. But it's not going to be there anymore. We must live with these ideas in our head. Going back to the point of being cringe. How cringe can you be if you're going to die? How cringe can you be if you're a mortal being? Why does it matter? That's the question. Why does it matter? Meaning, be who you need to be. Create value to the world. Tell your friends that you love them, because in an instant, everything can change. For better and for worse. Every single day. We don't step in the same river twice. Even if it's the same river, we're not the same man, we're not the same woman. We're not the same person. We're not the same animal. So, it might not be cringe, it may be cringe. Record it anyway. Try it anyway. Go the distance anyway. Roll the dice anyway. You might not look as intelligent. Maybe. Maybe to yourself, maybe that's just a thing that you're thinking. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Who cares? Who cares?